What's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P. Joe Pisapia, back with another video here at Fantasy Pros MLB. Don't forget to like this video, share, and subscribe to the channel because before you know it, we're going to be here every single day talking baseball on Leading Off, but we've also got amazing podcasts and short form videos and more lists, anything you want. Basically, we've got to hear all things baseball on our channel. Make sure you drop your comments below too because we love hearing from all of you. We're the show of the people, and don't forget too, we have got Fantasy Pros Draft Kit available for you right now over at FantasyPros.com. And of course, the Draft Wizard is open for business, so sync your leagues, mock draft till your eyes fall out of your head, and have some fun there. Get ready for the season. Today's video is going to be about the must-have pitchers, and I'm going to take a couple superstars, some names on the rise, and maybe some guys going a little too late that I want you to have on your fantasy rosters in 2024. So without further ado, because I think there's been too much ado, let's get to those names of my top 10 must-have pitchers for 2024. Number 10, Eduardo Rodriguez, Arizona Diamondbacks. A finger injury cost Eduardo Rodriguez some starts last year, but arguably he's coming off his best year in 2023. Rodriguez won 13 games for a lowly Tigers squad over 26 starts, throwing up 150 innings with a 3-to-1 K walk rate and a 3.30 ERA and a 1.15 whip. Rodriguez is entering his prime, and he is poised to have another good season here as the big lefty in the Diamondbacks rotation for a team that made it all the way to the World Series in 2023. He wasn't quite as dominant last year when he returned from injury, but his first 12 starts were electric with a 2.64 ERA. I understand that's probably not sustainable, but if you can meet somewhere in the middle between that mark and the 3.84 ERA he posted after his return, then I think Rodriguez can be one of the best returns on investment in drafts in 2024. Number 9, Michael King of the San Diego Padres. Michael King came over to the Padres in the Juan Soto deal from the Yankees, and last year with the Yankees he split time between relieving duties and starting pitcher duties, but there's no doubt now he is going to be a full-time starter for San Diego. As a reliever for the Yankees last year, King was dominant and had a very high strikeout rate, but believe it or not, that K per 9 was actually higher when he was a starting pitcher, which was actually pretty surprising when you start digging into the deeper stats. If you look at what the Padres have done the last couple years with Seth Lugo, Michael Wacha, and even Joe Musgrove, there's an opportunity here for Michael King to take a big step forward and possibly even become the best starting pitcher in the Padres rotation, and I don't think that's a hot take. Number 8 on our list, Mitch Keller of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mitch Keller ran hot and cold last year. We all know that. Over his first 19 starts, he looked like a Cy Young candidate with a 3.31 ERA, 129 strikeouts, and a 1.12 whip. Over his final 13 starts, that was a different story. A 5.59 ERA and a 1.44 whip. Those numbers had fantasy managers pulling their hair out, except for me, because I don't have any. However, I am not giving up hope on Mitch Keller. I saw enough good out of him last year that I think some tweaks to the pitch selection and some refinement in the location, and there's a good chance Mitch Keller gets back on track and looks a lot more like the guy from last year, and at his current ADP, he's a gamble worth taking because of that strikeout upside. So let's give Mitch Keller one more shot to prove that he can be as good as he was last year in the first half of 2023 and draft him in 2024. Number 7, Tanner Bibee of the Cleveland Guardians. The 24-year-old Bibee hit the ground running for the Guardians last year, and over 25 starts, he posted a 10-4 record with a 2.98 ERA and a 1.18 whip. Bibee offers a 28% strikeout rate and a 7.7% walk rate. Hip inflammation ended his season a little early in September, but that's not a bad thing because he was already up to 142 total innings on the year, along with those 15 minor league innings as well. Now, some will say that his 4.22 xFIP could mean some regression in 24. However, I think Bibee is capable of making adjustments when he needs to, and I think he's set up to dominate in 2024, making him a potential ace in fantasy this year. Number 6, Joe Musgrove of the San Diego Padres. Look, Joe Musgrove has been one of the most effective starting pitchers in fantasy the last few years, and when he started the year late because of a broken toe, his draft stock plummeted when it never should have been the case. He only missed a few starts in the beginning of April, no big deal, and when he came back, he looked just like the Joe Musgrove of old, dominating with big-time strikeout numbers and low ERA and whip numbers. However, there was a shoulder injury to be concerned about down the stretch, which cut his 2023 a little bit short. All reports so far are good on Joe Musgrove, so as long as the next few weeks come out clear for him in terms of spring training ramp up. I think Joe Musgrove's ADP will continue to rise, but if you're drafting early, take advantage in the dip of ERA, because if you can draft this guy as a number 3 starter, you might have another ace up your sleeve in your rotation. Let's take a quick break in the action to tell you about Trophy Smack. Are you ready to make a bold statement in your fantasy baseball league? Show your league mates you mean business with the bling ring from Trophy Smack and stand out as the true champion you are. We've teamed up with Trophy Smack to bring you an epic giveaway that will take your league celebrations to the next level. To be eligible, all you need to do is subscribe to the FantasyPros MLB YouTube channel, your ultimate source for fantasy baseball insights and updates, and leave a comment on any of our videos. That's it. The best part, we'll be announcing the lucky winner right here on the channel, so don't forget to turn on those notifications. That way you'll be the first to know when new episodes drop and when it's time to claim your prize from Trophy Smack. And now back to the action. Number 5, Justin Steele of the Chicago Cubs. If you go back and look at last year's videos, Justin Steele was one of my favorite breakout guys. He was also a guy that I was drafting everywhere late because of the strikeout potential. He was one of my favorite sleepers last year, but I don't think after last year anyone's sleeping on Justin Steele now. The 28-year-old delivered 173 innings for the Cubs over 30 starts, winning 16 games and posting an ERA of 3.06 and a whip of 1.17. The 3.02 FIP and 3.32 xFIP tell you that Steele is for real. Now, all good rhymes aside, Steele has finally become the ace of the Cubs staff, and that's something they've been waiting to produce from that organization for quite some time. Now, he did fade a little bit at the end of September with a 4.91 ERA in that month, but we'll give him a pass because this was his first full season as a starter in the big leagues, and Justin Steele was terrific for 5 of the 6 months. So just chalk up the fade to a little bit of fatigue, and it should be clear sailing for Justin Steele in 2024. So draft him, get him on your roster, and enjoy the ride. Number 4, Jesus Luzardo of the Miami Marlins. It feels like we have been waiting forever to get Jesus Luzardo to a dominant form of himself. Finally, after years of toiling away with injuries and bad performances, we got the Jesus we've been looking for. In 2023, he finally lived up to the hype. Forget about the 10-10 record, but focus instead on the 218 strikeouts and just 56 walks in 178 innings for the Fish last year. He posted a 1.20 whip and a 3.53 ERA. Now the only question is, can Luzardo follow up his incredible 2023 campaign? I say yes. The numbers say yes. It's all about health for Luzardo, so as long as he's healthy, I expect him to make 30 starts this year. Now, he does need to perform better on the road than he did last year. He had a 4.48 ERA there on the road away from Miami, and he also had a disappointing August where things kind of unraveled for him a bit, but he did finish with a flourish with a 3.68 ERA in September, so I'm confident that Luzardo made the adjustments he needed, bounced back, and should be primed and prepared for possibly the best season of his career in 2024. Number 3, Orioles starting pitcher Kyle Bradish. Last year, the fantasy community at large was drooling over Kyle Bradish. He was their favorite new toy. And unfortunately, Bradish was pretty bad out of the gate, posting a 6 ERA in the month of April. Gross. However, if you dropped him, well, you live to regret it because he went on to have a 2.83 ERA and a 1.04 whip on the season. That's how good he was. Now the addition of Corbin Burnes as the true frontman of that rotation takes a lot of pressure off Kyle Bradish, which is going to allow him, I think, to really settle into his role as a mid-rotation starter for the O's, which is a team that plays good defense and has a lot of good youth coming through that system in terms of offense as well. The 29-year-old had the 8th best ground ball rate in the business last year, 49.3, and that was a key to his success. His strikeouts per 9 are right at 9, his walks are at 2, and the K to walk ratio is nearly 4-1. That all portends to a very good season for Kyle Bradish coming up in 2024, with an Orioles team that is poised to make some noise in Major League Baseball this season and continue to bounce back to being one of the better organizations in baseball like they were back in the early 80s. Oh man, it's been a long time, Orioles fans. I'm sorry. Speaking of Orioles starters, there's another one I want to draft, and it's Grayson Rodriguez of Baltimore. Now, Rodriguez had some ups and downs last season, including getting sent down to the minor leagues when things did not go so well for him earlier in the season. However, by season's end, you could see the reason for the hype surrounding Grayson Rodriguez. The Orioles are a franchise on the upswing, and Rodriguez looks to be a big part of that future. In his final 10 starts last year after getting right in AAA, he had a sub-2.5 ERA, and his September strikeout rate rose to that of his dominant minor league mark. The Orioles have struggled for years to develop their starting pitching talent, but I'm going to go on a limb here and believe that 2023 was just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Grayson Rodriguez, and 2024 looks bright. He's not just a great keeper league asset, he is a right now redraft asset too, so be aggressive when it comes to Grayson Rodriguez in your drafts this season. And finally, number 1, Tyler Glasnow of the Los Angeles Dodgers. We have been teased and teased by Tyler Glasnow before, but last year was actually a career high in starts and innings. If you can believe it, yeah, 121 innings, that's the career high for Tyler Glasnow. But this is a different story. Tyler Glasnow now finds himself pitching for the Los Angeles Dodgers, a team with enormous expectations and enormous talent, and I think he is finally ready to deliver on all that promise we've been waiting for years. Last year, over those 120 innings, he produced a 3.53 ERA, a 1.08 whip, and a stunning 12.2 K per 9. That's the kind of stuff dreams are made of, folks, and fantasy aces as well. His 2.91 FIP and 2.75 xFIP suggest that he has all the makings of a true fantasy ace and on the precipice of an elite fantasy season. That's right. All he's got to do now is make 30 starts. Is that too much to ask? It might be, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Tyler Glasnow is right now going off at the 10th starting pitcher off the board. He's the only guy on this list that's top 10, and because he's 10th and he has the upside to be the first guy overall in terms of finish, I like that draft stock, so give me Tyler Glasnow as my number 1 must-have. I know it's scary, starting pitcher in 2024. Okay, everybody, there you have it. Those are my must-have guys for 2024 when it comes to the guys on the mound, but I want to hear from you. Who is towing the rubber? Who's taking the ball every 5th day for you out there in fantasy land? I want to hear from you. Drop your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell. It's very important to ring the bell for notifications so you know every time a piece of content drops here on Fantasy Pros MLB, because we eat, sleep, and breathe baseball around these parts, and I know you do too. That'll do it for me, Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.